Welcome to the land of illusion. Welcome to your final resting place. I see your mind.
Hi, my name is Matt Gleason. I am your host for Modern Art Blitz. Get ready for an hour of discussing modern art, contemporary art. I just call it modern to piss off those people who say, well, modernism was a segment of time and it's over. You know what? Who cares? Our first guest, we have three today. Later in the show, John Seed, Jody Benassi. But first, I'm going to say painter, and then I'm going to ask her, the first question I'm going to ask her is, are you an artist or a painter? Linda Saccoccio. Linda,
hello.
Welcome to Modern Art Blitz.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Hey, are you a painter or an artist?
Artist.
Oh, okay. Sometimes people, they want to get down. Okay, so, and how long have you been an artist?
Since I was born.
Really? Okay, so
Sorry,
you were,
yeah,
no,
true.
Sometimes they're born, sometimes they're hatched.
Yeah.
So, you currently reside not in LA. Most of our guests are in LA, but today, actually, nobody in our show lives in LA.
Oh.
Wow.
We
have a deep valley, we have Inland Empire, and what do they call where you live? Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
But what is there a name for that region?
Santa Barbara County.
Santa Barbara County,
yeah.
Central Coast is
Central
South
Coast,
Central?
South
Are you South Central? Oh geez.
South
Okay.
Central, yeah.
So and how long have you lived in Santa Barbara?
14 years.
Wow. And you're from?
Well, I moved there from New York City after
York City.
14 years.
Are you a New Yorker?
I am.
Oh, jeez.
Except I wasn't born there.
No, well, let me tell you, these days most New Yorkers are not New Yorkers.
I'm not born there.
But you're in the LA scene a lot. You're down here a lot.
Yeah,
So tell me. Well, let's start with what we got here. How old is this picture?
This painting is from the 80s, the late 80s.
Oh my God!
Before
I don't know.
You don't know
that we've
right?
ever shown medieval art on the show before. I think this might be a first. So wow. So the 80s. So you were painting on the East Coast.
I was taking classes at the Museum of Fine Art School because I didn't major in painting at RISD. So I was trying to find what I wanted to paint. And I was working with Jerry Bergstein, whose paintings were very psychological, so it seemed appropriate. And I had also moved back to Rhode Island for 2 years, and so family issues were really in my face.
Okay. So this is a Rhode Island trauma painting.
Yeah.
So and again, this is from the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know that we've ever shown a painting from the 80s on the show. So is this oil?
It's oil.
How big is it?
It's about 68 by 62, I believe. So it's taller than me.
So if you were painting now, you're obviously influenced by the landscape. You're influenced,
right.
There's a heavy sense of place in your work, but you've gone completely abstract.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about the journey. Tell me about the journey from going abstract.
So I just wanted to paint really badly, and I didn't know what to paint. So this is what came up, and I did a whole series like this. And eventually I realized I wanted to go to grad school. So it was perfect to do this, to get a portfolio for a graduate school. And but I knew that really wasn't what I wanted to do. So when I got to grad school, I made the transition there in New York City. And I think when I started yoga too, that really helped inform my movements and gesture. But it really, even the abstract work seems to come down to early classes of drawing at RISD.
Really?
Yeah.
And so I've never heard, well, maybe I'm trying to think, is there somebody known for having yoga and abstraction?
Yeah.
Is it just more, does everything just become part of one, a big part of the bigger picture?
I think so, and I do energy work, so I think it's energy. So I'm taking kind of spirit and trying to make it into form, trying to...
Well, you're definitely not sounding like a New Yorker
I know.
when you talk that way. So let's see the next piece here. Do we have the next artwork? So now, what year is this? Are we still in the 80s?
This was 91.
Oh, okay.
We turned a corner. Yeah.
First Bush is president. Clinton's coming. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. What materials are we talking about here?
So it's oil on rabbit skin glue, and there's charcoal there. Those lines are charcoal. That's what I started the painting with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you working from, again, nature? Do you ever work from a life drawing, any human forms?
When I made the transition, I would take, I took photograph of fishes in the stands in Chinatown, and so then I would take a little segment of that and make it into an abstract painting. But this came totally out of feel for the size of the canvas. This one's 72 by 60 maybe.
Ooh.
And it's the final painting I did in graduate school. I did 3 black and white-ish paintings to finish grad school. Because I'd worked a lot in color, and I wanted to see what was left if I took away the color,
And if this is taller than you,
yes.
what do you do? How do you move around? How do you move it around?
How do you move it around? You get really strong as an
Yeah.
artist. At RISD, they had us using like 6-foot pieces of cardboard on the hill in the wind.
No.
So you start learning to be
Yeah.
like Jesus with your cross.
Okay. Not that artists have a martyr complex or anything. So this is older work, and yet I can really see from here,
Yeah.
Knowing your contemporary work,
Yeah.
you've already made the big transition.
I did.
So for you, it was more like, just finding out who you were physically with the yoga and spiritually.
Meditation and chanting and yeah.
And is there a lot of that going on in New York is it underreported?
There's a lot of
Really?
it. But the Californians, when they come, they all look so glowing and
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so there's a California envy on part of these. Oh, okay.
Well, it was for me. Anyway.
So that's why you got out here, right?
Yeah.
Just a little more holistic. Okay, let's see what else you brought, because we're kind of doing this historic view here. What year is this?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was done in Santa Barbara, so it was after 2003.
Okay.
So it could be 2005, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the aughts. Again, what's the medium?
These are oil on paper, and I use pencil just to get the straight lines down, but then I do it all by hand.
Is this part of a larger spiritual practice?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of meditative, and my kids were still on the young side, so there was something about it that was really attractive to me to just kind of, and one painting always led to the next pretty nicely, so it was a consistent journey.
And so, you're not working out a series ahead of time. You're letting each piece take you.
Yes.
That's a lot more liberated, would you say?
Yeah.
Some people work in series just out of the need for a certain sense of structure. They just need that foundation. But you have that in your spiritual practice, right? Your meditation practice, working yoga.
Yeah.
And in forms.
Yes.
And you can't make fun of it if you're a New Yorker doing it. Okay. Okay, so and again, mid-aughts here, and bigger than you?
47, something like that. The height.
They've come down over the years.
Down.
Big bad grad student. Now we're kind of getting okay. So one of the things that I've always liked about your work is your relationship to poetry. Mm-hmm. Talk about your relationship to poetry.
Well, I was thinking about that today because I think for me, my relationship with poetry, it seems spirit to spirit. The energy of words and the inspiration that comes, to create that, they're kind of more light. Where painting, it's spirit to matter. You have to get that grit. You wanna turn it into form. So words sing to me. I really love music. I love sound, and so it's my way of saying something, still a little on the sly, but yeah.
Is there any music that you don't like to paint to?
Yeah, anything I don't like.
Oh, okay. So it has to be like there's just the aesthetic choice, though.
Right.
And you don't like say I need I need to get some Graham Parsons in this today or something, any of that?
I do everything intuitively. It's like feel into it, like what do I feel like today? Okay, I feel like this.
This painting needs some saxophone.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it the lyrics, your relationship to poetry, your relationship to music, same thing, or is music a little more vast?
Well, I'm kind of jealous that I can't make music, so this is my way of tapping into it, and it happened naturally. I only kind of noticed it, after. I'm like, oh, I think this is what I'm doing, and I chant, so even though I'm not a singer, I can do that. But
okay,
yeah.
Now, is there the rhythm of chanting in the rhythm of your paint strokes?
Definitely, movement and sound is in there too.
It's there. Oh, yeah. Because I see it absolutely. Well, let's go on because there's other works and they're a little more contemporary. This is much more contemporary, right?
Right.
This is more recent. This is what you're kind of doing now, right?
Yeah.
Close to what you're doing now.
Close.
And this is a much smaller piece, right?
That's much smaller, like 14 inches, I think.
And you've done diptychs, triptychs with paintings like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so are they titled?
This is Lichen and Light #1, I think, and
Lichen as Lichen?
Yes.
Lichen the things that eat rocks?
The grow on rocks.
The grow on rocks.
Yeah. So I saw this rock about so big that I passed by hiking often, and the way the light hit it, there was something about it. I just wanted to capture that. So I don't sketch it or anything like that. I just let it kind of, come through me, and those are the things I remembered about it, the feeling of it.
Nice. And so when I look at this, and I think, I want to say the average viewer, but certainly anybody who's taking your work seriously would look at this, and I think maybe it would come out of them that maybe the influence here is a bit by Matisse. Are you a fan? Is he an influence?
Definitely was.
Okay.
Definitely was.
Who is an influence on your art now? Is there an artist now that you really, when you see their work, it just makes you want to get into the studio quicker?
Well, Franz Klein always was, so I think...
Oh, wow. Well, I see the energy in your
right,
work. Absolutely, the brushstroke, yeah.
And Agnes Martin, just because she was so independent and her work is so sublime. So she's definitely, when I see her work, I get excited. But anybody that can paint like lots of paint, like Van Gogh, I just...
You're talking about the impasto people. You don't really pile it on, though,
No, I don't.
You're pretty thin, but you love the gooey stuff, but you don't do it yourself?
It's the stimulation of color, I think, that gets me excited.
Wow.
Although, Agnes Martin is pretty subdued, the sublime light, I suppose, comes through
absolutely.
in that.
Yeah.
I like the Asian calligraphy paintings that are, it's kind of the gesture is the impact, and you don't want to mess that up, you know? So that's what I try to do. Like my first layering of movement, I try to honor that as much as possible without changing it and killing it.
First draft, best draft in writing. Sometimes I used to say first draft, worst draft, but sometimes I find the first draft is
right?
The
thrust. If you're there, if you're present enough.
Is there ever a painting that you're like, nope, done, I killed it, I got to throw it out? Yeah, that happens a lot?
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot, but once in a while.
It happens, sure. Like,
do you gesso over and paint, or do you throw the whole thing out?
I put it aside usually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have a ceremony, burn it?
No.
Incense? No? Okay. I'm a Californian, and I'm giving you more flack than the New Yorkers give you. But okay, I got it. Okay, so I think we have one. Do we have one more?
Yeah.
Ooh, I love this one. Yes. This was, is this the one that I showed?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I brought this along to the LA Art Show in January 2017, part of a 3-person booth we had at the Coagula Curatorial booth in the fair. And I really liked the two chromas. Can you tell me, you don't have to give away the secret. I don't want to say I dip and dip. Oh no, every artist just found out how I do it. I don't care about that. I'm just saying what's going on with the energy of the two chromas.
I mean, I think I shoot from the hip all the time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's whatever kind of. I bought these paints at Ace Hardware. They're enamel, and there's a limited palette, so I had to decide which ones I was going to use, and then how I was going to mix them or not mix them. And I started with the tints. So the underpainting is tints of
Ace Hardware tint.
Yeah. And then, so I had them, and I really actually liked the ground a lot. But my daughter kept saying, I hate pastels, every time she would see them in my studio.
Okay.
So it took me a while to go the next round. But they kind of painted themselves, you know. And again, I start by just putting marks on and see which ones are working and how to nurture them into speaking independently and together at the same time.
And just to make not a wild guess, I worked with the work, if I recall right, that's 36 by 36.
It's around that.
Yeah, around that 40, maybe 40 by 40?
No, it's probably more like 36, and it's
okay.
a panel, it's wood.
Oh, it's painted on wood panel?
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been doing that?
For a while.
Yeah?
Yeah, it builds up faster.
Yeah, you can build up the surface as opposed to canvas.
Right.
Canvas, you push and it
just sucks it up.
It goes, well, but also you push and it kind of goes in, and the panel, you're like, bammo.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
the first time I painted on canvas, it was so exciting because it did that. But now I'm,
Wow. So you've shown we had that show, and but you and I have talked about doing a book.
Yes. Yeah. We're
so
working
tell
on
me,
that.
tell me about you insisted to have a poet involved.
Yes.
So explain the process.
So I get these poem-a-days in my inbox by, I think it's poet.org, and I found this poet that read his work so beautifully. So I thought, it's a long shot. I'll see if he wants to do this. So I sent him a message, and he was totally on board. He loves my paintings, and so he's been pairing poems to the paintings. He lives in New York City and teaches at Columbia University. Do you want his name?
Oh, of course, you should definitely, if we're working together, yes.
Joseph Fasano, and he's quite amazing as a poet,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's tough to make it these days as an
Yeah.
artist. I can't imagine how tough it must be to make it as a poet.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it helps that he teaches, but he's got 3 books.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to working with him, and especially you, when we do this book. But thanks for being our guest on
you.
Modern Art Blitz. It was a blast.
It's
And
always a blast.
Linda Saccoccio, and is it Saccoccio? Or
Saccoccio.
Saccoccio. Linda Saccoccio. We'll be back right after this.
Full of delusion when you